Hi friends, and welcome back to another 2019 Moon Series guide. We kicked off with this brand new series this week, and we'll be looking at the Pokemon Lunala today. As I say, we've already done two guides covering Kyogre and Groudon. You can check them out up here. I'll put a card for you lovely people up there so you can click and check those out if you'd like to. But like I say, Lunala is the Pokemon of choice today. It's going to be one of the restricted options that we got introduced to in the Sun and Moon series. So what better way to kind of kick us off with probably one of the best and potentially biggest threats in the Moon series. So before we get into it, just a quick reminder guys, if you do enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like on the video, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of the VGC content in particular, because I'm guessing that's why you're here, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well. I'd love to hear your comments as well on these sort of guides, so do leave them in the comment section below, and any feedback is great just to hear what your thoughts are on these guides, or if there's anything that you want added to them going forward in the future. But without further ado, let's just get into this one straight away. So we'll start with an overview of Lunala. It is a Ghost and Psychic type Pokemon. It is a very unique typing, has the ability Shadow Shield. Now how Shadow Shield works, for those of you that don't know, is if Lunala has 100% max health at any point in the battle, then Shadow Shield is active and it reduces any damage by 50%, be that super effective damage or just normal damage to Lunala. So an amazing ability, but as soon as that health is chipped slightly, even 1 HP, that Shadow Shield breaks and that damage reduction disappears. So you've got to keep Lunala as healthy as possible and take advantage of that Shadow Shield ability. It makes it very difficult to remove in one hit. Common attacks you're going to see on Lunala are going to be things like Moongeist Beam, its signature Ghost type attack, Psyshock to take advantage of its Psychic typing, things like Focus Blast as well, which give it a bit more coverage, and then supporting options it's got are things like Tailwind, Roost, Roar, and obviously Protect's going to be on there as well. It's got many more support options, but these are going to be the primary ones that you're going to see. It's got a base stat total of 680. It's got 137 base HP stat, 113 attack, 89 defense, 137 special attack, 107 special defense, and 97 speed. So a little bit faster than your more standard or other restricted Pokemon in the format, giving it a bit of a jump and a bit more an advantage over those Pokemon that are a little bit slower than it. It's got some big weaknesses though. One of the drawbacks with using Lunala and that unique typing is it does carry a 4x weakness to Ghost and a 4x weakness to Dark, but it is helped out quite a lot from those weaknesses with that Shadow Shield. Obviously, as long as it's max HP, those attacks will be doing half the amount. With its Ghost typing, it's got some nice resists to normal and also to fighting, with resists to poison and psychic, and then hit normally by everything else. So there's a quick overview of Lunala. As you can see, its biggest base stat is going to be between the HP and its special attack, so it can act like a very good supporting Pokemon, and it can act as a very strong offensive Pokemon as well. So the first set that we're going to look at today is going to be the Lunalium Z set. So its signature Z move, it gets a signature Z attack called Menacing Moonraze Maelstrom, which is a 200 base power Ghost move, which is just incredible. It can hit for such hard damage and just rip through opposing teams and threats. One of the things that you guys need to make sure that you're aware of is this attack, this Z move, because Lunalas that you see will be prone to carrying it. We went for a very straightforward build here. We went for timid nature, maxing out that speed stat, 4 HP, 252 special attack, and 252 speed, just making sure that we're getting the most out of those relevant sets for how we want to use Lunala, making sure that we're outspeeding everything that we need to and hitting as hard as we can with that special attack as well. An attacking calculation option here that we've got is just a 252 special attack Lunala Menacing Moonraze Maelstrom versus a Shadow Shield Lunala is a guaranteed one-hit kill, which is crazy. So if you're against an opposing Lunala and you can potentially win that speed tie, because it's going to be made up of a lot of coin flips, this format, I feel, you can make sure that you do knock it out in one clean hit through that Shadow Shield, which is just incredible. A defensive calculation here just goes to show that you don't really need too much investment in those defensive stats with that Shadow Shield ability intact, so you can always take a 252 special attack opposing Lunala Moongeist Beam, so that's always going to be a 2-hit kill. So if your opponent is playing Lunala and it's facing down against your Lunala and it hasn't got the Z move, then you can always have that reassurance that you'll be able to pick up the knockout on it, and it won't be able to pick the knockup up on you as long as your Shadow Shield is intact. Some common partners that you're going to see with Lunala here to kick us off are going to be things like Smeagol. It has got Fake Out, Wide Guard, it's got Follow Me, which is really good for drawing in those ghost type threats. You're going to have Stack Attacker as well, which is a nice option if Trick Room is something that your opponent tries to set up to get around your Lunala because you're running a faster variant. Works perfectly in Trick Room, and it does threaten two of the most popular dog types in the format in Incineroar and Yveltal with those rock type attacks. Another common partnering Pokemon is going to be Incineroar because of the Fake Out, the Intimidate support as well to reduce physical threats, and obviously it is, with its typing, it's fire and dog type, a great switch in for any big threats that are coming on to Lunala. Common checks are going to be opposing Lunala. Another one is going to be Yveltal. Players are going to jump on Yveltal because of its dog typing. It is faster than Lunala, so it is able to pick up those KOs and be a big threat to that particular Pokemon. I've thrown in Persian here, Alolan Persian. It isn't so commonly used by players, but it is something that I do feel like players can pick up on and use as a good tool against Lunala. It does outspeed, it has access to foul play, it has access to parting shot to reduce that special attacking stat, it has Fake Out, it has Taunt to shut down support options and things like that. So very good utility with that dog typing. Always going to be a threat to Lunala, so something that you need to look out for if you are a Lunala player yourself. So that is the Lunalium Z set we've covered there. The next one we're going to take a look at is another popular item choice, and I think one that we'll see a lot at the start of the Moon series, and that is the Phytinium Z, for good reason, because one of the issues that Lunala has is hitting those dark types with only access to normally Moongeist Beam and Psyshock. So with the Focus Blast and the access to the Z Crystal, it can then pick up maybe knockouts on things like Stack Attacker, things like Incineroar, do decent damage to things like Yveltal, and totally take things out of the game like Persian and Tyranitar completely off the field with that Phytinium Z, as well as hitting things like Cortana for very good damage and other fighting weak Pokemon that it might otherwise struggle with. Common attacks on this sort of Lunala is going to be Moongeist Beam, you're going to have Focus Blast, and I'd say a choice between Tailwind, Psyshock, and then I would say maybe Protect on there as well to help Lunala just have a bit more staying power and help with adjusting board positions. We've not went for anything fancy, again exactly the same EV spread in nature as the previous set, because I feel like this sort of Lunala needs to be run offensively, needs to be run fast, you need to be taking advantage of those stats that it's got for the job that you want it to do. Attacking calculation example here is going to be 252 special attack Lunala, all out pummeling that fighting Z move, 190 base power against the standard bulky Incineroar, 236 HP, 236 special defense, is going to have an 81% chance to pick up a knockout there. Defensive calc I've just thrown in because knockout might not be as relevant going into the new format. We might see other stronger dark type options come into play on things like Incineroar, so Darkest Lariat here through that Shadow Shield is always going to be a 2-hit KO, so making sure that you're always able to survive that one hit. So there is the Phytinium Z, one that I would say you need to be very aware of going into the rest of this format. Next set we're going to look at is a popular set from the Sun series that I still think has got a lot of relevance going into this format, and a nice option if you don't want to play the Z move on Lunala. It still acts as a very threatening special attacking Pokemon and has access to that Spooky Plate, which boosts ghost type attacks by 20%. We've went for a timid nature again just to make sure that we are outspeeding the things that we want to outspeed, again making sure that we're taking the most out of that special attack stat with the Spooky Plate as well on top of that. Common attacking options you're going to see here are Moongeist Beam, Psyshock to take advantage of its same type attack bonuses, and then you're going to have options like Tailwind or Psych Up depending on the partnering Pokemon that you pair with Lunala here. Common partners again are going to be Incineroar for obvious reasons that we've already covered. Xerneas in this sort of build is very popular, especially if you're playing the Psych Up to take advantage of those Geomancy boosts from the Xerneas, and then Crobat's a nice option here that gives you, if you are going down that Psych Up route, another option of speed control with Tailwind, Taunt, help shut down opposing threats, and just support the team in general. So attacking calculations here, we're going to see a 252 special attack Spooky Plate Lunala Moongeist Beam versus a Tapu Lele, and you can see here it's going to be an easy one-hit KO. So even a defensively built Tapu Lele is going to be knocked out here from that Moongeist Beam with the Spooky Plate boost. And then you can see the defensive calcs again without very much investment at all. You're capable with that Shadow Shield of taking some of the biggest attacks in the format. Now a +2 Fairy Aura boosted Moonblast from Xerneas is only going to be 47 to 56%, which is just crazy from one of the strongest attacking Pokemon in the game. You're going to have common checks against Lunala again, and as we go through this guide, I'm just going to put Pokemon that you need to be aware of, things that do threaten Lunala and can threaten it when you're going up against them, one of them being Kartana. Another one, Gengar, is an interesting one here because with access to its Ghost Gym Z and the Never Ending Nightmare, I do feel like this could be a threat that Lunala has to watch out for depending on how popular it does become in the format. And then even though it's a great partnering Pokemon to it, without that Focus Blast or the Fightinium Z, Incineroar will wall Lunala all day long, so you need to be aware of those as well. Right, that rounds up the Spooky Plate. Next option we're going to look at and set we're going to look at is an Electric Seed set. So again, another set that was very popular within the Sun series, and another set that I feel will operate very well in the Moon series. If again you don't want to go down that Z move route, you're going to have options this time on this sort of build like Roll, Roost, Tailwind. You're probably going to drop the Protect, although Protect's still a nice option on it. You're going to have more of a support role of Lunala, but it still can hit very hard. You can't underestimate it, but that supporting role it can provide the other team members is very imperative. You're going to have supporting cast of Tapu Koko. Obviously it's going to be a mainstay on this sort of set because you need the electric terrain to activate that Electric Seed, which gives you a +1 defense boost as soon as that is activated. You're going to have other partners like Kyogre that'll take advantage of the Tailwind or any speed control that you're going to have on Lunala. And then Nihilego is a nice option that I always think pairs very well with Lunala because it hits two of the more popular dark types within the format, that being Incineroar and Yveltal, for good damage with those rock type attacks that it's got access to. Common checks you're going to see, and things that Lunala need to be watching out for again are just a different variety from what we've already discussed. Things like Mimikyu, things like Snorlax. Snorlax here will be a big problem because it has got access to Crunch, and if it is playing that and Trick Room does get set up as a countermeasure to Lunala, then it can cause you a lot of problems. You can't hit it for big damage with your Moongeist Beam because it's a normal type, it's immune to it, and Psyshock isn't really going to be doing too much damage either, so it's not really going to cut the mustard in those sort of situations. So Snorlax is going to be something that you do need to be aware of. You're just going to find it very difficult to deal with. Aegislash is another Pokemon that you're going to find difficult to deal with, especially if you've not got the Z move there to make sure that you are knocking it out. It is going to be defensively able to take those Moongeist Beams and then return with a big hit of its own, and if it is carrying that Z move then you need to be very careful. Attacking calculation option here is 60 plus special attack Lunala Moongeist Beam versus a 252 HP Mimikyu is a one-hit kill, so you can always guarantee that you are able still to pick up a knockout on most bulky Mimikyus, if not all variants anyway. And then defensive calculations, you can see from that Electric Seed boost it is getting a +1 in defense that it is able to take, at least with the Shadow Shield active. Sucker Punch is a 3-hit KO, making it incredibly strong and just showing how good it can be and versatile it can be with that item choice. So that is the Electric Seed. We're going to hop on to our next option, which is another seed, but it's going to be the Psychic Seed this time. Again, going along the same lines as what the Electric Seed offers, a more supportive role, but still something that you need to be very aware of because it can still do a lot of damage in the process. You're going to have a supporting cast of things like Kyogre, Amoonguss, and obviously Tapu Lele, so you've got the Psychic terrain to activate the Psychic Seed, but at the same time it's boosting the Psyshock that Lunala has access to, being a Psychic type as well. We've got an EV spread of 148 HP, 12 defense, 196 special attack, 148 special defense, and 4 speed. So attacking calculations example here, you can see 196 special attack Lunala Moongeist Beam versus just a generic 4 HP more offensive Shadow Shield intact Lunala is an 84 to 99% damage output. So if you can get any chip onto that opposing Lunala, you know for a fact that your Moongeist Beam is more than powerful enough to pick up the knockout there. Defensive calc, and this is the big one here for us, is a offensive 252 special attack Timid Lunala Menacing Moonrays Maelstrom is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, so you can take that Z move. So you need to ensure that your Shadow Shield is intact when that move is hitting, but if you can make sure that it is intact, then you can guarantee that you'll be able to take that move, which might allow you room to set up your Tailwind, your Trick Room, roll something out, just get some extra damage that you need to win that game. A nice example here of how else you can use it, and like I say, with the Electric Seed, this is more of a supporting role that Lunala will take advantage of. Now, we've covered a lot of sets here, so we're going to just round up with the counter options and summary table. As we can see, one of the things I like to do is make you aware of the max speed, minimum speed, and common speed that you're going to see on these restricted Pokemon within this format. So Lunala's raw speed stat, its max speed stat, is going to be 163. So if you're wanting to take care of it and deal with it and counter it, make sure that that Pokemon that you're using to deal with Lunala does outspeed that number that you see right on the screen in front of you now. Minimum speed of 91, so if you want to go the other way and making sure that you go on a Trick Room route to deal with it, make sure that your Pokemon that you're utilizing to deal with Lunala under Trick Room does underspeed that 91 raw speed stat, and a common speed stat that we're going to see on Lunala is definitely going to be that 163. Players are going to tend to want to go with the more offensive and speedy Lunala builds because of the Z move there. Getting that Z move off before it gets knocked out is imperative most of the time to cut through your opponent's team and taking options away from your opponent. Items that we're going to see, the Lunalium Z, the Fightinium Z, probably the two most common items that we'll see going into the early stage of the Moon series. Then other options like we've covered are the Spooky Plate, the Psychic Seed, and the Electric Seed that we've seen common items used in the Sun series that you just need to be aware of. Like I say, they're nice options to fall back on if you want the Z move elsewhere on your team and not on Lunala. Common attacks, we've went through them all. It's got really good support options. The main attacking options that you're going to see on Lunala that you need to be aware of are Moongeist Beam, Psyshock, Focus Blast, and then obviously the Tailwind. There's Roll, Roost, Protect. They're all options that you can see on Lunala. Then the best checks for Lunala, in my opinion, are going to be always the Yveltal, the Incineroar. They're going to be very hard for Lunala to deal with, especially Incineroar if you haven't got the Focus Blast. Opposing Lunala, you've got to be scared of opposing Lunala and very wary around them. Gengar, again, with its Z move and access to that in the Moon series, does become a big threat, and then Kartana as well because of its knockoff, and again, it can have the Z move, and all these things, barring the Incineroar and Lunala, do outspeed your own Lunala, so you've got to be aware of that. Walls, you've got to be aware of, especially if you're not again carrying that Fightinium Z, or things like Tyranitar, things like Mandibuzz. They might not be so common, but players might fall back on them depending on how popular Lunala gets in the series. You're going to have Hydreigon that falls into that category again. And then one I think in particular is very good as utility against Lunala is Oranguru. It's got a normal psychic typing, so it's not affected from those ghost type attacks because of its normal typing. Because of its psychic typing as well, it doesn't take big damage from even if you're carrying the Fightinium Z, but it also takes resist damage from those psychic type attacks. So you're going to find it very difficult to take this particular Pokemon down, and especially if it is a Trick Room setter and it has access to Foul Play, so it can do some heavy damage in return. And then I've tagged on a little old Alola Muck on the end because that Pokemon again can cause Lunala a heck of a lot of problems, especially if you haven't got the Fightinium Z as an option on your Lunala. Then common partners we're going to look at, always going to be Incineroar. It's a perfect switch in for most attacks that are threatening Lunala. Then you're going to have Xerneas. It's a very good partnering Pokemon. It detracts a lot of attention from Lunala and lets Lunala have a little bit of space to operate with on the field. And then Smeagol for reasons that we've already covered in this guide. So there we go, guys. There we have Lunala. I hope you've enjoyed today's guide. It has been a lot of fun covering it, and I hope you've got some use out of it, some better understanding with how players are going to utilize it going into the Moon series, especially these early stages of the format. And maybe it's giving you guys some ideas at home with how you want to test it out and try it in your own way out on the field in your own teams. So like I said earlier in the video, leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on this guide, on some of the sets, what you'd be planning on doing, if you're going to use them, if you've used them before, what you found from them, everything like that. Do leave them in the comment section below. Remember to hit that like, guys, and we'll be back with another Moon series guide very soon. So until then, take care of yourselves and bye bye.